Okay, so we are ready to put a nose in. Now this is the black that we pulled out. We're not going to use this much, but we're going to take off probably about this much. Probably about the palm of your hand, however big your hand is, depending on your dog. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did with our nose, with our cheeks, but we're not going to turn it into a ball. So I'm going to turn it and start rolling this, keeping it a little snug so I don't get a ton of air in this wool, because the more air that's in wool, the more you have to stab it. Okay, so now I've ended up with a tube like this. So we're going to tack this down, but don't mash it down. Just give it a few stabs, keep your shape. Don't get wild and crazy on it, and keep your fuzzy ends right here. So on this dog, like we did on this one, the nose is right above these two cheeks, and we're going to put this nose in. So set your nose right on top, center it, and here again, use a pin if you need to. If you need to use a pin, and then size this up, because your nose needs to come to the ends of your cheekies like this. Make sure you can check that on every angle to make sure you are in the correct place. And once you're happy with it, stab this in on the side. Now don't stab into this cheek. You want to stab straight in. And if you stab in the same hole repeatedly, it'll just pull that wool in there. It'll just suck it up like it's hungry. So we want to get this anchored in before we do anything else to it. So do one side and then turn this around. Here's your other fuzzy end. And if you want, you can match this up, or you equal, because this right here is about halfway of this cheek, and here's where the other one needs to end, about halfway. So we're going to stab this in to make sure we have it in place. Okay, so once you have that, take our pin out. On this top part, I know it's a little hard with the black mat. Right in here, just grab some of these hairs and stab this into the face of this dog. Now don't go hog wild on it. Just do some light stabbing, tack it in there on the top. And right now his nose looks huge, but we're going to take care of that. And then on this end, do the same thing, but don't stab into these cheeks. You need to stab in to the head. And don't go crazy. You need to stab in there to get this locked into place so it doesn't move. So that way, if you're handling this, or you're going to give it as a gift or hang it on your tree, with you handling it, it's not going to mess this up. Okay, now you can push wool around. If you need to squeeze in, straighten this out a little bit, see where it wants to go, and stab this in. Now in this case, we've got this little V right here in between, right here. Take some of this black wool, and you can take and pull that down right into that V, and that helps you to make the nostrils for this dog, because he does have nostrils. I know they're a little bit hard to see, but he does have nostrils. You can put that down if your nose is a little bit bigger than you want it. Do some light stabbing to shape that down a bit to where it's not quite so big. I don't know, I kind of like it big. He looks fun. All right, get in this diamond shape. Here we go. Now if you need to, if it's just not filling up, take a little bit more black. Here again, just a little bit. And lay that there, and you can take and you can fill in yeah, you can do that. If you're getting a bunch of flyaway, take your needle and wrap around like this, and it will grab hold, and you can shove that down in there, and no one will ever know that you added a piece of black to make that. Here again, don't stab into your cheeks. You just want that triangle. Now in this part, I'm going to pull out, this is a 36 triangle needle from Living Felt. It's the pink. And this is a coarse needle. What I did is I marked them so I don't have to remember all these numbers. This is a coarse needle, and it is going to pull a lot and fast and hard. So right about in here, because we don't want to mess with this, leave this alone. We want to take, and not straight in, but go in at a slight angle and push that in, and give your little dog a nostril. I know it's a little hard to see, but it's there. It's right there. And then do the same thing on the other side. This needle does serious work. It's a good one. Now, if you don't have that, and all you have is a 42, it'll do the same thing. It's just going to take you a little longer to get there. Okay, so go ahead and get your nose cleaned up and finished. Do all your little detail work. Get that cleaned up. If it created a gap, make sure you fill that back in. And I'm going to stab this down because his nose got a little bit huge. Okay, so now we have a doggy and a nose. Okay, so let's go ahead, since we're using the black, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in these little whisker dots. I only put 3 on him. I'll probably do 3. Now on this, we're going to pull out about this much. It's not a lot. And that's per cheek, so you need 3 per cheek. Now the thing about core wool is it doesn't always have to be stabbed. You can ball this up, tube it up, roll it. It's a little bit bigger than what I want. And if it's too much, you just pull it off. So I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to take this. Now, here's where stabbing is important. I'm using the 40 spiral. This is a finishing needle. And I'm going to take this little piece of black wool, pick my spot, and I'm going to go straight in. And I'm going to keep stabbing in the same spot. Watch this. This is the fun part of wool. Look at that. This is a little bit bigger dog than what I originally made. So he needs bigger whisker spots. There we go. Here again, we're going to just take a bunch and ball it up in my finger. Let my heat from my fingers do the work. Now, if holding this the way I'm doing this, you can drop this on your mat, take your needle and pick that up, and then bring it up here. And just start stabbing, and let's just put them in anywhere, wherever you want. And if you don't want them, well, just leave them off. You can go grab yourself some tea or a glass of water while we're taking care of Whiskers. Now, if you want whiskers, you can certainly do that. You can add whiskers. You can use plastic, which there are places that sell plastic whiskers. I do believe Living Felt, if you buy there, they have plastic whiskers. You can use horsetail hair. You can get that. In my case, what I like to do is I like using fishing line. Most of the time it's clear. If you wanted a color, you can paint it. Just drag it through some paint, let it dry. But clear usually works, but you can do that. And then you just take and poke a hole and put some glue on the end of your whatever material you're using for a whisker, and then let it dry. And my glue of choice is Elmer's. It's fantastic. It works really good. Okay, so you go ahead and finish up your whiskers. Do your other whisker the same way, and I will be right back.